Pinnacle Winter Series returns. I am Leg Day, joined today, extra specially, by Counterfeit. Kremer's ill, so we've dragged in the emergency response unit, and that comes in the form of Counterfeit. Welcome to the cast, buddy, and welcome back to Pinnacle Winter Series.
I mean, yeah, it's a great time to be here right at the end of the main Swiss stage. Of course, our best wishes out to Kremer. Hope they recover soon, but as we can see on the table here, we are almost done with the main Swiss stage, and as you can see here, things have not gone well for our regional team. From the very first day, everybody from the regional stage lost, and now we've only got UNGENTIUM making it through from the regional team so far, with a chance to see Astralis talent also make it through today to make it 2 out of the 8 teams in playoffs.
Yesterday, we closed out the B stream watching Eternal Fire, one of the Turkish super teams, actually close out against Astralis talent and consigning them to the fate of having to fight for their lives today. Of course, those 2 red teams in the middle are the ones who are going to fight for your entertainment and for survival now. Wisla Krakow going up against Astralis talent, and of course, Astralis talent, we've got a pretty recognizable name, but these are some of the trainees Counterfeit up against Wisla Krakow, who have been pretty successful recently. I cast Astralis talent yesterday. I was really impressed by the ability of Fessa in particular to just drag rounds out of nowhere, just would occasionally pop off with some triple D headshots, had a really good sense of timing, and Mister appears to be coming into their own at the moment as someone who is really good at understanding the enemy's rotation timing and getting some solid flanks off the back of that.
Yeah, I mean, this is Astralis talent at their top rating they've had so far, so they're definitely on the team up and up and up. I absolutely agree with pointing out Fessa there in particular has certainly been over time their strongest performing player, and they need to do real well, because you look over on the other side against Wisla, who are not only on their own peak, but their peak is a lot higher than Astralis talents is, ranked 24th, and they've got so many amazing players, it's hard to keep track of all of them.
Indeed it is. In particular, Snatchy comes to mind as someone who really does elevate this team's level a little bit. I'm kind of surprised, actually. Wisla Krakow ended up losing, I believe, to Apex in our Swiss stage to deny them from going through even sooner than this. They lost out 0-2 to Apex. That was on Nuke and Overpass. So I'm not sure if we're going to be heading to those today. It's fairly likely, though, because, of course, neither of our teams insta-ban either of those. Vertigo is usually Wisla Krakow's ban, and Dust 2. That's what Astralis talent take out. That's one of the best maps as well for Wisla Krakow, which might be slightly worrying as we head into our veto.
Yes, well, we, honestly, holding our breath a little bit for Astralis to try and find any favorable matches here. It's the only map they're really amazing on. It's going to be Overpass, and Wisla might be willing to meet them there. Yeah, they led it through the band, so apparently, Wisla, don't worry about it at all.
This is doubly good for Astralis talent on Overpass in particular to make sure that this isn't a 2-0 as many people would expect for Wisla Krakow, looking at just the HLTV rankings of these teams, because quite recently, of course, yesterday, losing to Apex on Overpass for Wisla Krakow, I think that they were a little bit maybe favored up in there, and it's also a really good map for the side of Astralis talent, so it's kind of a double punch of being recently poor for Wisla Krakow and overall very good for the side of Astralis.
Yeah, I mean, a 7-map streak there if you're in the underdog team. I'm honestly amazed that Overpass even got through, but apparently, so they've got, they've got other things on their mind. We talk about managing to get to map number 3. Wisla definitely have the stats when it comes to 2-0 series. They win 2-0, a huge amount of the time. I think Astralis, they're trying to grab onto whatever life raft they can to try and make it to game 3.
Astralis lost Nuke yesterday in the decider match. It was 2-1 that they lost against Eternal Fire, and Nuke was the deciding match. So it's no surprise that they were banning that one out. Mirage here, it's going to be all about Breezer picking up that AWP, or at least trying to do so, because sometimes we see that these teams, when going up against some of the big dogs like Apex or Wisla Krakow, it can be very difficult to string together enough rounds to build up a consistent economy to get that AWP out in a good manner. And sometimes if you want to play the AWP economy, it can be more about maybe being able to rush and steal an AWP from a team that's in a better position economically. But Breezy yesterday, they were pretty hot when it came to playing the AWP, and I imagine they're going to be wanting to continue that today to try and make sure that Wisla Krakow are usually playing from a man down.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be quite an ask for them to get the map win back on Mirage because, you know, Astralis Talent generally have not been very good there at all. But, you know, I think this first map is really going to be everything to try and avoid it being a 2-0 series. A small note with the Wisla Krakow members is, while we did talk a little bit about, you know, how they've been performing sort of historically, and Snatchy in particular being a very, very strong player, the rest of the team hasn't shown up in quite the same way so far this competition. So if Snatchy perhaps has a bad game, then maybe Astralis have a chance.
All right, the odds from our partners over at Pinnacle, ted.gg/winter with code winter22, heavily favouring Wisla Krakow as we head into this. Almost 4 to 1.25 for Astralis Talent. Not a huge amount of belief in the Danes against the Polish side.
No, and I think the stats really do bear that out for the most part. But again, this is Astralis Talent with their best chance of the series to stay alive. If they lose here, they are probably done in this series as well. And of course, done in the competition. Of course, there's a big pile of money for any teams that do make it to the playoffs at all, let alone win the entire thing. So a lot of pressure on Astralis Talent. But Wisla, their own pressure of having to live up to their own expectations.
So went rogue with the P250, but it's all about the entry onto B at the moment. The bomb should be planted by Breezer and Snatchy now. With the view from heaven, a 3-man retake here could well work out with his USPs. But where are the upgraded pistols? Essa, for the moment, I believe is down in connector, trying to make sure that any rotations through there would be untenable. And Snatchy is allowing for scouting to be done before any real retake will occur. Vigo noted, Vigo swings! Oh, it's a massacre in favour of Astralis Talent here. Only Snatchy remains a player we highlighted as being the one to watch, and he's going to be the one that we watch die. Crack open a cold one, boys and girls. This last match of the main Swiss is going to be a long one.
It's always fun when I realize my co-caster is set up. I come over them ahead of time. Of course, as we get
comedy kind of it. Here we go.
It's amazing stuff. I feel like we're in the presence of the master here, but we're also in the presence of our other partners as well. Extrafy Stream Cards, and of course, World of Esports. You can find out more about them below our stream. Please do support our partners. If you're at all interested in what they're offering, you'll help support future CSGO competitions. The CSGO is about to blow up here. Astralis Talent right onto the site.
Digs across the board over Wisla Krakow. They believe in their aim, and I believe in Goofy. This is what Disney will not show you. He's a cold-blooded killer, I'll tell you that much. And that is a big force up from Wisla, and they are rewarded well for it. An AK and a couple of MAC-10s looted as well. They're playing Borderlands kind of it. It's a looting round.
Well, absolutely. You see those triangles, you grab them, make sure they're green, of course. But for Wisla, that's an incredible recovery round, as you said. They come out of that round, you know, with Astralis Talent giving them all of their guns. I mean, we've seen this so many times. If a team wins the pistol round and goes on to drop all the weaponry to the opposing team, it's a crushing blow to the morale.
Force Wars on the other side. Astralis also opting in for the Diga Scout as well. There's Pyro here. Or Spiro, I suppose. Like the Pokemon.
I suppose so.
That's a touch of damage.
Oh
my goodness. Straight into Vigo, and Breezer's left so low. Mister, when they take the swing while the reload is happening, Snatchy's there with recovering fire. That should have been a beautiful timing, but Snatchy said, no, we don't do that here.
You see, Astralis Talent, they say, really? You can win rounds with just pistols and a dream? I suppose let's give it a try. But instead, Wisla, just roll right over them. And bear in mind, again, for anyone who has come to the stream late, this is the map that Astralis Talent have to win if they're going to stand a chance in this series, and already everything is going to hell.
Why doesn't my pistol do that? Oh, found by the MAC-10 as well. That's a lot of bonus cash there for the Polish side. Certainly these MAC-10s did get paid out, and they've been able to keep that AK in circulation as well. The longer you can keep it on the CT side, the happier that you are. And after those forces, it has to dawn upon Astralis Talent that now we need to go for a full eco, boys and girls. Blocks across the board, no armor, no util. Let's just rush onto someone and see if we can take them down with a tide of human flesh.
Well, the tide of human flesh, it seems like it's going to go right into B, so I thought they might be diverting across to B. Astralis, if they went for the A long approach, they would be able to sneak through, but unfortunately, instead they'll just find themselves in that meat grinder. We start picking up even more cash as Astralis. What happened, buddies? We do at least have Vigo managing to sneak onto site. Unfortunately, they don't have the bomb, or they can actually make something of this. One kill back. No, wait, what? 3 kills
this
back
is what
in?
we're
What the
talking
hell
about,
just
right?
happened?
Fessa just being able to grab a round out of nowhere and say, you know what? No. This is still winnable. And that's exactly what they did with the Glock. Couple kills. Vigo on the site. The bomb very much in the possession of Jed right now. The AK at this range is, of course, the ideal weapon. But with an HE, Vigo is incredibly easy to kill. Look at that 15% HP. The timing is lovely. Jeddah takes down Vigo. And briefly, Wisla Krakow will avoid disaster. But for Astralis, they're pretty happy with the overall outcome of that round. With just Glocks, they managed to reset a huge amount of the weapons on the side of Wisla Krakow.
Yep, I mean, that was honestly impressive stuff. So now we've seen, even in our early rounds, both teams can pull off something impressive with just pistols. For this round now, we won't have to make do with pistols. It's fully armed and equipped across the board. Astralis sound a little light on utility, but this is their chance to get back in early.
Spiro takes down Fessa, already on notice of Astralis talent. We heard you brought a big Orpa and Breezer. Guess what? We've got ourselves a pair as well. Round number 5 with double Orp here, Counterfeit. This is a statement made by Wisla Krakow. The Polish side bears no respect for the Danes or their own economy.
I mean, that's the thing. You know, Wisla, coming into this one, we expected, honestly, to go through the main Swiss stage as one of the teams from the regional... one of the teams from the invited squads who would just be able to smash through everything. Instead, we still got the possibility of a comeback. I mean, this round is pretty dicey as Sparrow grabs another... Oh boy, Astralis talent. This was supposed to be your moment.
Have they, I'm not sure if they found, but no, they haven't found both the Orps yet. I don't know if they know Snatchy has one, which could lead to a couple surprises, but you can see from toilets, actually, both the Orps are covering the same area. A little bit rarer. One of the things that Wisla Krakow are very good at, it seems, early in this game, is they're doing an excellent job of always seeming to work in pairs. No one's ever alone. A lot of good trades are happening, and very few isolated gunfights are being managed by Astralis talent, who, once they got themselves back on the AKs, find themselves slammed down into the ground just as hard. But I'm afraid, unlike wrestling, this slam is for real, boys.
Oh boy. There we go, shooting down the pro wrestling so early on into the broadcast.
Yeah, here we go. Round number 6, I've got some words for WWE.
Ah, who watches that anymore? What a bunch of lamers.
It's all about AEW now.
Yeah, okay, we're on the same page. We're on the same page. Wonderful. Astralis talent, though, as we turn back the page and watch them getting picked to pieces, they're going to hope that this... It's not a championship fight for Astralis talent, it's a survival match for both of the teams. And, oh my gosh, Astralis back on pistols again. Wisla, keeping them at arm's length and picking them to pieces.
That was one of the only times we saw like a single player push without having an effective double for a trade, but it was still backed up by a flashbang. So it feels like even at range, Wisla always play as duos or as trios. And that's making it very hard for Astralis talent to get any effective refrags here.
Well, I think, yeah, that's the advantage. Wisla have a really good ability to get the opening kills in a round, and that's what makes that kind of double up kind of play work really well, is that you don't have to cover as much ground. Astralis talent, they are going to try their luck again. They've only got a minimal amount of utility to try and pull off any play. Running up here towards A. Jed holding ground very nicely, and I don't see Astralis pulling something miraculous off, but then I didn't see it before either.
Flames in the bathroom. Someone had Mexican last night. Oh, that's a lovely shot from Spiro. Mister. Slain for now. And once more, Astralis talent with their little forced up Desert Eagles are looking at maybe having to save these. We've got one smoke to play with. Goofy for first. Will it be the second? Never mind, doesn't matter. Softened up, tenderized, and then there's Snatchy with the incision.
Oh my gosh. I feel like you're... I don't want to go too much of a butcher that you go to. That sounds terrifying. But it has been a pretty scary opening half here. Again, this is the map that was Astralis Talent's pick. I say was, because I feel like Wisla have basically taken it from them and made it their own. We do get back in with a buy round. Hopefully for Astralis Talent, they can finally land the opening kill and start to break apart this group strategy of Wisla that's worked so well up until this point.
All right, Breezer finally has the AWP, and have they died to a take 9?
Oh, come on!
No chance in hell. That's an absolute travesty. Congratulations on that AWP. Now get the hell out of my game.
It pains me. It pains me physically to watch this happening. Astralis, they are walking forward, desperately trying. Notice we do have Astralis trying to do a bit more of a map play this time. Fessel is moving up, maybe hoping to find a way through to the A site long term. But Astralis right now, they're stalled out on B. And of course, Sparrow is there, just reminding them what's going to happen if they take a step further forward.
AWP versus AWP, and guess who's better? That's 2 AWP builders now on Astralis Talent. You're falling it away. Yazimov still does wait on the ramp, mister. Do you risk it? Looking over towards the classic boost, knowing that Wisla Krakow might make a big effort of trying to gatekeep this weapon.
Oh, Fessel was thinking about going up towards there as well. They eventually decide to fall back on it. They would have to face it off against Snatchy's AWP with Jed in backup as well. There are no good options here for Astralis. I think they might be forcing it though. Altex is on to the site. They haven't been spotted. Maybe this is the round for Astralis.
Oh, the supportive flash only got Sparrow for just a second, but Mister still takes a swing in good time. Fessa wraps up, gets themselves the AWP out of the hands of their fallen combat. It's a beautiful adjustment. But now in a 1 versus 2 and 5 seconds remaining, all you can do is survive and try and get this back into the hands of Breezer. A rare second chance, but they're running out of chances counterfeit. 6-1 at the moment for Wisla Krakow.
Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad we're not seeing the odds from Pinnacle right now, because I think they would be a little upsetting if we're an Astralis Talent fan. Again, once we see those come up, do keep track of them as we get our timeout coming in. I think a well-earned timeout. As you can see on screen, Pinnacle, of course, our name partner for the competition in the Pinnacle Winter Series number 3. Of course, there has been a Winter Series number 1 and number 2 before this, and the Fall Series as well. All of them, of course, leading to the big kahuna. Land, sweet land, for $250,000. We have 5 of the 6 teams from the series. At the end of playoffs next week, we will have our 6th and final team. It doesn't look like it's going to be Astralis Talent, though, based on what we've seen so far.
No, it does not, Counterfeit. No, it does not. And at the moment, this timeout, can't talk about the sordid details on stream, but I'd say this about the time you have a cigarette and maybe some chocolates.
Oh my jeez.
I
disavow everything Leg Day says for the rest of the cast. Officially speaking, yes, Your Honor, this Twitch stream right here.
This man right here, officer.
All right, Wisla, they are going full bore. And you said they didn't care about Astralis Talent before. They're now pushing out into Astralis territory right at the beginning of the round. They are putting the boot home, but Astralis, they actually are onto the B site thanks to this aggression.
Oh no, Snatchy says absolutely not! He snatches this land grab from their hands. The player to watch. The big boy of Wisla Krakow. Breezer surrounded on 3 sides. Snatchy on the left. 1 behind the pillar. 1 coming in from connector. Where is there to run, little Dane?
Oh my god. This is nightmare fuel for Astralis Talent. Every time they come back to Overpass and say, hey, this is our map. This is the place where we are the strongest, the most comfortable. A 7-map streak here on Overpass, seemingly coming to a close in the most brutal fashion that I can remember.
Those odds from our partners over at Pinnacle there. 6 to about 1.1 against Astralis Talent. This was, of course, full match odds. And we were expecting that Wisla Krakow will win the match. But we were thinking that maybe Overpass might be a 2-1. A 2-1 opportunity.
Yeah.
Because, hey, Wisla Krakow lost this yesterday against Apex. Astralis Talent like this map. They've won it 8 out of the 10 times they've played it. And now they have won 1 out of the 8 rounds we've played here. So, it's not been a fantastic roll forward. Remember, you can sign up to bet with low margins and high limits over at tab.gg/winter and sign up with code WINTER22 to let them know that we sent you.
Yes, of course. Only for our over 18 friends, please do bet responsibly, and only with money you can afford to lose. Because Astralis Talent, they can't afford to lose this round. They are so far down in the dirt of this game as Mirza will get taken down very low. Altex does get a kill back in. Astralis Talent, make us believers.
Refrag here from Sobol. They've been a little bit quiet, or quietly fragging away. 8 kills thus far, but I feel like I haven't been screaming their name. I've just been consistently being able to find these refrags in the midst of brawls. Interesting choice here from Jeddah. Going for the M4A4. Not the favourite of many at the moment, considering the lack of tracers from the M4A1S. Sobol. Now with the AWP themselves.
Ooh.
Never mind. Is not required. Jeddah puts the A4 to use. And now playing around that pillar. One player noted. They do not know about the player on the left, though. Fessa here could be the key to victory. A miss with the AWP. They just keep on moving between weapons. And while you're busy juggling large arms, Snatchy, they've got a bigger arm in their own. And they are using it to great effect.
Oh boy, yeah, Snatchy up to 12. Sobol and Sparrow on 9. There's just so many good performances to talk about here. On the other side, Vigo. We were talking about players we haven't been talking about a whole lot. For Astralis Talent, their top fragging member is almost one who's flown below the radar because there's been so little good news. I feel like we're moving very slightly into Astralis Talent feeling a little bit stronger than they were before. But by the time they are warmed up, I think Overpass is going to be done.
Fessa, the only player not to die 8 times out of 9 rounds thus far. And they're on 7, which is why the Astralis Talent economy is suffering so much. Breezer! Oh, our observers have done you terribly, son. I'm afraid that one's not going in the montage. Snatchy. Oh, that's some great covering smoke right there. It was actually given over by the T's because they wanted to try and avoid Snatchy peeking out of the bathrooms. But now it's just a fighting retreat. I'll be my own rear guard. I am the tip of the spear, and I am the butt of it as well. The butt of a joke right now might be the Orpas from Wisla Krakow, both slain by the Dig. The bomb will be collected and now heading over with the AWP appropriated from the hands of a Polish. Should be a bomb plant here, get this extra money. Remember, this was a force up onto the Deagles and down into bank here potentially to clear out the back and then look towards the front.
What's the opposite of stop me if you've heard this before? Stop me if you've ever heard this before? Astralis Talent managing to make a plant on the site and not get horribly massacred? Mister, you hold in your hands the fledgling bird, the hopes of Astralis Talent's fans that maybe even if you can't win the
defuse.
The miss! What? How did he miss?
That fledgling bird that was in his hands, that's just been crushed by the Incredible Hulk. Oh, that just happened. I don't like that it happened, but it did.
Oh my gosh, I can see in the Twitch chat, people have turned against Astralis Talent en masse. I can certainly understand being pretty disappointed with their performance so far. Again, I feel like they are getting better, but in terms of stylistically how they're matching up against Visa, Astralis, they are definitely behind the curve, and even when they're getting close, it's not close enough. I can see them, Astralis Talent, maybe doing better on their CT half, but this one has been diabolical. Utility coming in, stopping them up. Fessa does get one.
Goofy with 2, doesn't need eyes to get the second one, however, even trades on the site. Vigo finally striking pay dirt. And now Astralis Talent, for the first time in what feels like forever, have a man advantage. Snatchy wants to redress for balance, though. No one gets an advantage against my team, but no one gets the drop onto Viggo Mortensen. Aragorn has decided to retake the crown of Gondor.
Did you know in that movie he kicked a AK and broke his foot?
Why was there an AK on the set?
I mean, they were considering, you know, bringing some more modern equipment.
The
Yeah,
Riders
that's the
of
real...
Rohan now with
Originally,
Uzis.
the ghost one in the story, they were like, "What's this? A gun, my lord?" Astralis talent. They're on 2 members, Verza and Altex. Vigo has passed the torch. The bomb goes off. Astralis talent. They hold on by their fingertips. Not to this half, because they definitely haven't won that, but to the smallest margin of hope that they can win out here in Overpass, because they sure as hell aren't winning on Mirage.
Gimli hits different with an RPG, man. I wonder if the recoil would be a real problem for a dwarf.
I don't know, they're pretty solid.
They are pretty stocky.
Base.
They are dense humanoids.
I mean, well, for Astralis talent, fortunately they've hit gold in that last round. Hopefully they won't delve too deep, but where they're going right now is towards the A site, which is a rich avenue indeed, because Wisla are not currently defending A long at all.
Spiro lies in wait, smoked off again. This appears to be one of the smokes that Astralis talent are very much being forced to use when having to consider that the double AWP is up against them. And there's a lull in the action here. That's Astralis talent. They are somewhat perturbed, maybe, by the fact that there hasn't been these early forays out from Wisla Krakow to try and control the territory.
And Astralis, they pick up the first kill as well, so we don't have Wisla being able to bring their team together in such a strong way. They're going to have to spread out more. The buddy system you're praising before for Wisla allowing them to trade every kill, it's going to be shaken. Now Astralis have the numbers.
Patience on the side of Breezer. Still, the bomb hadn't been picked up here by Astralis talent. They are happy to just default it out, consolidate their map control.
Time's running out, though.
I'm going to be going up against Spiro on B long, or rather A long, pardon me.
Utilities coming a
Bombs can
little
be.
light. They have to make this push right now. It's against Goofy, it's against Snatchy. One AWP, one M4, one member. They've got to go right now. They're almost out of time.
Flashes sent on out, support the push through Monster. Snatchy fully blinded, actually moves without taking a shot. Breeze's shot connects though. It's been a title performance here for the AWP player in this round. 2 kills, including the opening that made everyone look over to B and say, this is where we're going to plant the bomb. This is where we're going to make our stand. It was tightly timed, Counterfeit, but eventually they did manage to find their plant. And now, with 4 players surviving, they can start to reinforce an economy that's been battered and bruised for so long. And I think at the moment, they've got the confidence on Vigo to start to look for these hunts. They want to try and deny Spiro this AWP. The internal mathematics are telling them, but hey, Wisla have lost so many players off the back of battles in these last rounds that maybe we can try and hurt their economy. Spiro hurts just as much though. And it does seem like it's going to be a stalemate here at the end. Spiro will be left to have a quick cry in the bathroom, and Astralis trying to get their third.
All right. I mean, just think of this leg day. Just imagine. This baby bird has recovered from being squashed by the Hulk. Apparently pretty resilient, as are Astralis talents. Extended metaphor. Yes, it's Elastic Bird. That's what Astralis talents logo represents. The Elastic Bird that is coming back here. Maybe with a chance to end out the half with something approaching. I mean, if they win these next 3 rounds, it doesn't actually look that bad.
Snatchy hides away. Good map awareness while blinded. And even better awareness of where Mr. may well be moving. Backing off towards an area that has not been smoked just yet. And there it is. The classic T-smoke coming on through Spiro. Could not afford the second AWP this time around, so heads it over to Snatchy. And speaking of Snatchy's head, taken off here by Fessa, who definitely alongside Vigo has been able to find a couple of rounds where they really have just activated all of their little aiming neurons.
Watch out for Vigo, though. They could be about to get into some serious trouble. I apologize. Yeah, they're going to ship Night each other, though. And that means the bomb is on its way to the A site. We did see Astralis. They have had success with running out the rounds to the very end. And I think they might actually make it through here. Fessel. is almost there. Altex is coming to join the rest of the team. This will be a good A push.
A little bit of utility, 2 smokes to work with at the moment. So controlling toilets might be quite difficult. Altex going up against Jeddah here is going to be one of the deciding engagements. If Altex is heard, the call in for rotation through connector might well change everything. Jeddah might get passed on by. Actually, the movement's going to be heard. It'll be an easy backstab. Altex never saw it coming. 1 player remains, and that's Vigo. We've seen them do amazing things before. Unfortunately, the only amazing thing you could do at the moment is have a big ragdoll fall. Wisla hit double digits on their CT side.
Oh boy, yeah. So, I mean, this is one of the consequences, I think, of Astralis trying to play out the round in the same kind of way they did before. Wisla, they've got the experience to understand what's happening, or, you know, especially if it just happened in the previous round. And instead of waiting for Astralis and ending up getting caught off guard, they close the jaws of their own formation so much faster, and Astralis getting hit from multiple angles, it only ends one way.
Wisla Krakow took like 1 round where they didn't go a lot more aggressive. And Astralis talent managed to catch them out as they made their sort of second phase interdictions. So once again, they are doing the same shenanigans on A with the early land grab, trying to find anyone who wants to peek out. Connector for now, under the able stewardship of Snatchy. But without an early pick here, Astralis talent once more have their options open.
Sobol drops early, traded with Vigo. Still, that's okay. Interestingly enough, that's on the B side of the map, and Astralis, sensing opportunity knocking, are on their way. Snatchy is waiting, but will be bypassed for now. Astralis, they've got a good line towards B. They just need to take it.
Oh, Mr. Lies, what was that?
Oh!
Beautiful flick from Snatchy. However, damage is taken. Now they are a little bit vulnerable. Wrap around many people going through the canal here. 2 through pipes, 1 waiting outside a monster. Smoke lane down. This is risky. Do you have a supportive flash for this? Actually, very little utility on a Shadow Sunlight overall. Instead, it's for boost. Goofy caught with an aid in hand. A second one will fly, and sure, it will damage Altex a little bit, but you've already lost out on Goofy. And that makes things much more difficult. Freezer moves around the pillar and takes Jeddah with them. And now it's Snatchy. 17-5, I believe. Who has to try and make this happen. Scratch that. 18-6. Oh, the spray simply isn't there. Spiro was moving too fast. And Altex is so far away now. The tap upon the bomb will really begin to stress them. A Molotov. Oh no.
Jeez.
This is a sad time to be Altex.
Go for it.
They're making the
Altex
move.
has
It's
to.
right into the crosshairs of Snatchy. I'll tell you what, Snatchy's had some monstrous flicks in this round. Evidently, they are using a mouse from Extrafy. Maybe the M4 Wilds with a customizable shell that you can get for 10% off by going to teb.gg/Extrafy using code WINTER10.
Oh boy, I mean, I think at this point you would take, if you're on the Astralis talent side, you would take extra peripherals, you would take a dose of hopium to try and find your way back into this map again. For our latecomers, Astralis talent, we are here in game 1 of the elimination series. One of these teams, the winning team go to playoffs, the losing team leaving the competition as Festal gets the first kill. Ooh. Astralis, they're not quite done.
The timing on Snatchy there was pulling back the handle once more. Breezer, more of an AWP specialist than Sobol. He's a multi-weapon monster from the AK to the AWP, and the crossing is watched by Spiro. Fessa simply cannot make the dash. 12-3 is Wisla Krakow's CT side here, but we all know that Overpass a little bit CT sided, especially when you have some excellent AWPers like Spiro and co, like Snatchy. Question is, will they be able to do much better on their T side?
Oh boy, I mean, you say, you know, CT sided, it's not that CD sided.
My copium is oh, big hits. Deep breaths from the super copium tank.
This is the best chance Astralis Talent are gonna have all series long. This is their win streak map, and they do get the first 2 kills. Hope begins anew, but Wisla are on their way to A.
No lootable weapons as well here. Wisla on their way through. Still all Glocks, but they might be able to grab a USP here. They've got to grab Ultex first, and indeed, they're just moving through the undergrowth.
No.
They're around the site in 20 years. Sobol, just playing rearguard at the moment. It's a wild goose chase. Play the Benny Hill theme. Sobol allows them to move on past. And the defuse kit, it's still on the floor. Oh no. Bear that in mind. Foreshadowing his literary technique. And Breeze, well, they do get
Chekhov's
one.
the fuse kit.
Don't get much more than that. What a weird rotation from Wisla, but hey, seems to have caught Astralis Talent's surviving members by surprise.
Well, I mean, this is going to be one of the things that Astralis are going to come across more and more as they hopefully continue to climb the rankings. Is we've got teams like Wisla here who have got weird, surprising maneuvers they can pull out, and if you don't see them coming, if you haven't covered your rear or just check the I's, dotted the T's, all that good stuff, then you just end up losing rounds to these kind of unusual high-risk strategies. So Wisla can, they can bring out everything they've ever wanted to do right now because they're so far ahead. If it doesn't work out, who cares? They're still probably going to win.
Ourselves time out there. And now back into the action. You can get into the action yourself instantly by pressing the illuminated green play button from our extension partners over at Stream Cards, using a deck of cards to try and predict what's going to happen in the game in real time. So if you know a lot about CS, you can get up there on the leaderboards and you can play single player, so you can get straight into the action like we're doing now.
I recommend putting your cards towards Snatch if you can. There's certainly going to be a lot of kills in here for Wisla. Astralis, they've got the scout. Will be bringing out a little bit more firepower than they would have expected, but Astralis, we need to see something different from them. You mentioned before, Wisla, when they were on the CT side, they got really aggressive early on, rather than ending up in all of these duels against players who are arguably just better than them 1v1. As Wisla go onto the B side, they bypassed Astralis in their entirety.
Astralis punished for their forays out. Spiro with a set molly. Now with a Galil, that's a beautiful catch!
Ooh.
And a beautiful shot to move with it. Mister working out well. Their identity yesterday up against Eternal Flame was all about the flanks, managing to control this zone. The Galil has been appropriated, and it's been put to good use here by Mister. Can they do anything more than this? The UMP should arrive on the scene soon. And here's the AK from Mister down on the floor. Fest is able to upgrade over to the Galil. The MAC-10 though from Goofy. Killing spree that you never got to see before. That's a lot of money. And Astralis Talent, they're going to be lacking it after that force.
Oh my gosh, it was Goofy right back at the beginning of the first half, which really put pay to Astralis' Talent's early dreams of success. Now it's happened all over again, except there's even less hope to go around. I cannot believe that Goofy won that round. That was absolutely brutal to see Astralis Talent feeding themselves into the maw of the great dog of Wisla Krakow. It's not something I want to see again anytime soon.
Mister moving away for the moment. Breezer with the scouts. Gets a body shot onto Goofy. Bruised and battered, but still breathing. And it's all bait into the oomph. The UMP, let's put some oomph behind it. It's for second player, Mister with the M4 here. An audacious buy. With only body armor as well. Tries to cover their own back, but Goofy simply walks ahead of a smoke. You think this utility will stop me? The scout might. Breeze hits a lovely headshot.
Goofy's still alive, but not any longer. Astralis Talent. It took 3 rounds, but they're back onto the board. They're getting something with a resupply from Wisla. So we've got a small chance. Fessa, Vigor, up to 12 kills apiece. 11 for Mister. Nobody compares to Snatchy right now. They are out of this world. But Astralis Talent, they want to at least go down fighting here on their map pick. Mirage is honestly set to be even worse for them. So hopefully for Astralis, they can at least end out this first game with some wins so they don't go into the second map with a complete sense of doom around them.
If you got Snatchy in your World of Esports fantasy team right now, you are a happy bunny. If you think that you would be the big CS manager and you know how to pick them, we do have Pinnacle wins a series number 3. Integration. Multiple bullets being integrated into so many bodies right here. The eco being slain readily. Clean thus far from Astralis Talent, only losing Ultex, who hasn't been having the greatest game here, Counterfeit. Only 5 and 15 alongside it at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Ultex, just under a year on the team, they have tended to be a somewhat below average player. So much has revolved around Fessa, or in this case, Vigo. Vigo's been on the team for over a year, but I mean, for Fessa in particular, they've been on the team for a relatively short amount of time, only around 5 months or so, and they're already the standout player as they'll grab themselves another kill, or their first kill of this round. Astralis Talent, they get over the small hurdle. Now, they've got the somewhat more substantial one, I suspect, from Wisla, unless Wisla decide to wait this one out for even more money down the line.
Might be just the pistols again here from Wisla. Simply will have to be. You know what? There's been some good economic damage done here by Astralis Talent. They aren't overextending too much. They are playing responsibly with their land grabs. Sure, there is space being gained here on A, but it's not completely unsupported. Freezer finds Goofy. Oh, hello, Bomb. Nice to see you. It's for wraparound from the back. Vigo with a good spray. Snatchy now isolated. The only player remaining. Sure, Fessa's down. What? Oh my goodness. Freezer just got absolutely dominated. At the last possible millisecond in the reload, 2 players of Astralis Talent do fall. But hey, it's another round, boys and girls. And here are the odds from our partners over at Pinnacle.
Yeah, for our over 18 friends watching right now, you can check them out at tb.gg/winter with the code winter22. Please do bet responsibly. For our over 18s only, please only bet money you can afford to lose. Astralis Talent, they've made something of a comeback. They've gotten 3 rounds in a row. Now they go up against the armed and armored Wisla Krakow team, who are going to be coming out with quite some speed. Though saying this, Astralis, they are doing what you liked before from Wisla. They've got a little bit more aggressive in their defense, and Wisla, they're running into this round now just a little bit more slowly.
Slower default, knowing that Astralis Talent, they have been making a habit of moving up towards Fountain to look for early frags here. Wisla Krakow, of course, slower and more fastidious, knowing that every rifle they lose here will have a butterfly effect on their economy. Got about enough money for a flight to Ibiza between them. Fessa, oh, the spray simply can't be controlled. Gets one. But no more than this. The AWP might well have seen Breezer's head right there. An exchange of a smoke for a headshot. Get him, Smoke, says Breezer. But I'm afraid Goofy gets it first. They go now, moving in to try and anchor A. Alongside a compatriot. I think it's Mister who's come to join them. Actually,
yeah, I've got a flank attempt coming through. Vigo, moving forward. He's going to find Goofy, but Goofy finds them. We still got the flank from Astralis. Still the smallest amount of hope. And that hope is gone. Altex, 1 versus 4. Give it your best. But it wasn't enough.
No bomb plant for bonus money here, but Wisla Krakow, they are happy just to be hitting match point and getting some rifles back into their hands. Oh my goodness. If you got those early odds on Wisla Krakow, you're probably pretty happy right now. Use code winter22 at sign up with our main partners over at Pinnacle. It's in the name, baby. They are supporting Tier 2 CS, making sure that all of these teams in EU have plenty of money to keep doing what they love.
Wisla, I mean, this first map has been pretty spectacular. We've seen them playing in Pinnacle. We've seen them playing over the Multi-Vibes competition as well, doing pretty well in both instances. IEM did not go very well for this team at all, but here, against Astralis Talent, they're certainly looking like a team who've got it in mind that they want to get into playoffs as a serious contender for the crown to make it all the way to LAN Sweet LAN. Astralis Talent, one last chance, and that chance is maybe gone already.
Synchronized kills. Astralis Talent might be swimming with the fishes now. In a 5 versus 3, heroics are demanded of Mr. Fessa and Ultex. They've missed out on their big clutcher in Vigo. But we've seen Fessa do some absolutely disgusting, dirty, putrefying things. Mr. goes low, at range here. Up against the AK, they have bought Spiro low, but it's Goofy with the attempt at the backstab. A good turnaround here from Mr. Might well see them coming. The swing is given, but no damage done. At least to the overall man count. Goofy does lose a couple gobbets of flesh. And now Fessa. Here's the bomb being planted. It's Snatchu's responsible for that. Multiple players line on up. And it's all down to one player. Ultex versus the world. The world is simply too heavy. No Atlas are they. Wisla Krakow are heavy favorites. Take away Astralis Talon's map pick.
Oh boy, that was real tough to watch. And remember, of course, that was Astralis' map pick of Overpass, where their 7-map winning streak has come to a very abrupt end. Now it's Mirage coming up next, which of course is going to be Wisla's pick. Astralis Talon are not good on Mirage at all. If you thought it was brutal in map 1, it's going to get all the worse for map number 2. So of course, stay tuned. This will be our last series of the day. One more team going to playoffs, one more team being eliminated. We'll find out which one it will be after the break. because Altex taking a very cautious route, changing over to the AWP to end the round, and hopefully for Astralis coming into this next round with a fair chunk of change in their clammy hands.
I mean, there's no reason not to hunt here as a Mac 10 user, right? Like, you've got plenty of money in the bank. That was a nice play there from Altex, of course, not known as the AWP player of Astralis talent, but that's a great recovery considering how much Breezer invested in the previous round. And now they might be able to play this with, like, at least a force. Might be able to grab a Deagle. You can try and buy around this AWP. Breezer's going to get armor this time.
And for anyone who's coming into this one late, Wisla being our invited team, so they made it straight into the main Swiss stage where we are right now. Astralis talent 3-0 across the regional stage, one of our two most dominant teams. Neither team, Astralis nor Wisla, having the tournament performance we would have expected from them, now fighting for their survival in the very last game here of main Swiss.
What?
Vessel finds the first kill somehow!
Mad boys, mad boys. No! What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? There you go. He's gonna die, sadly. But the AWP is still in play. It's actually the solo anchor here on B. I'm surprised that with this being the big investment from the side of Astralis talent, they're allowing it to play alone. But maybe better to try and play the trades with these pistols. Actually getting aggressive here. Gives away the man advantage. Now it's 3 versus 3. This has become a lot more tenable for Wisla Krakow. And the bomb itself appears to be rotating B-wards.
That's why Breezer's going to be waiting for them. But as you said, they don't have a lot of backup. Fessa would love to come up and join. They won't have the chance to do so, I think, quite in time. And Altex is way out of the field as well. In fact, Astralis, they abandon the site, shooting Goofy in the leg. Doesn't quite finish the job. The B site will be swarmed over in just a few heartbeats.
All right, now it's Fessa's job to watch the player that they know is in jungle. Because Breezer's got to deal with those who are coming this way. Spearow slow walks it. And Speed was going to be your friend. Goofy was allowed to exit. Oh, Fessa! There was the trust there. There was the implicit trust. Hey, this player's in here. I didn't finish them. You can't let them backstab me. But the timing was there. The timing was found. And Breezer was taken on down. A lovely little swing here. Could it be Altex again? Who manages to stay alive towards the end of this? A swap over to the AK. Plenty of bullets in the chamber. Themselves versus Jed are already half gone. Is this bomb utility thrown on out of tap on the bomb? Seems like a good rotation here from Jeddah. They've read it well. The AWP is recovered and Wisla Krakow grab 4.
Considering this is Wisla's map, considering what happened in game 1, these rounds are getting closer than I would have expected. And Astralis is going to be able to buy up into this round. I still hold out a thimbleful of hope here for our Danish friends. I mean, they dominated the regional stage. We know they are a good team. It's coming together quicker than it was on our first map. But for Astralis, these rounds determine everything. The early game still in the balance, just if they can pull off this round.
Small amount of hope. Like, if I were to wring you out like a tea towel to try and extract all the hope, I'd like be able to feel like a biro, you know?
I mean, with that biro though, what a tale.
We shall write destiny!
Yes, we shall change the tome of fate. Altex is holding here, but unfortunately their story was a brief one, and merely a footnote in this round. Astralis talent though, they're in position to move back. Wisla, it's 3-on-3, and the B site is in peril.
I'm recovered though. No big dramas for Wisla here. It's going to be a battle around jungle. It is Spiro lurking up in there at the moment. Might be able to see Breezer over in market, but they appear to be pre-aiming this with the AWP. As Spiro read it, they hear the rotation, swapping over to a sidearm right now for the movement. I think Breezer might have been trying to bait this, because now they've stopped and looked back over. I'm not sure how much information they have. Goofy, fallen down. Snatchy takes the peek. Now they're going to run on back now. Over to B. Okay. Hardcore. Through
Gosh.
Oh, hello. Assassin's Creed, is it?
I think so. Now Snatchies by themselves. it's cost Astralis a lot of members. They've still got the AWP, they've still got the M4. They have lost track of Snatchy, and they're way off of the B side. It looks like they're certain the A plant's going to be made, but they're going to find out very shortly this is not the case. They have to know this isn't the case. Time has run out for an A plant. Now they're on the way to B.
Oh, just in the nick of time, Snatchy. The parkour has served them well. The time trial gets a gold medal. Achievement unlocked. However, will Snatchy be offered 2 1v1s with the CWP? They're positioned well for this.
They're coming in from 2 different angles. The first shot does not land. This could be Astralis' ticket into the early game, and it will be.
And they managed to save the AWP on top of all of this. Beautiful play there from Astralis. Being able to save that AWP is so important, but so too Counterfeit is saving money. And if you want to upgrade your peripherals, you can save 10% by going to teb.gg/extrafy and using code WINTER10 for 10% off any of their lovely peripherals like the H1 headset or the M4 wireless mouse. Thanks, Extrafy.
Yeah. Even our good friend from Linus Tech Tips, even he had fun messing around with their customizable mouse. So, who are you, dear viewer? Who are we to disagree with?
Who are you to
Linus?
question Andy from Linus Tech Tips?
Absolutely nobody. Nobody is. But we have another timeout coming in.
The kernel? I don't think so.
Colonel. All right. Well, while we wait, of course, we mentioned again our friends from World of Esports. Much like with our stream cards, if you think you've got the prediction skills, but maybe if you don't feel ready to check out Pinnacle itself and bet for money, of course, maybe if you're not over 18, then you can still use stream cards, World of Esports, to test how well you can read these upcoming games. For us, though, Astralis, they have taken that first step. They've gotten that first round, even on a map that is generally pretty terrible for them. They still keep us on the line.
Interesting smoke. Is that a one-way?
Oh, hello. A site getting flooded with flashes instead. The smoke on the entries for Astralis as they're being pushed onto heavily.
Freezer looks to cover themselves here. Will they see the Goofy approach? Oh, it's a miss! And the miss is punished. Goofy marauds on forwards with the SMG. Mach 10, that's for speed. He was moving into A site.
Down to 3. Astralis going for the retake here. Goofy is low. Looking for the shot. Finds 1, finds 2. Patient is the Goofy Predator. Wisla take back control of the game after dropping their first round. And Astralis Talent, well, some more bad news for them.
I can't do a Goofy impression. It's sad because that would be very useful right now.
I felt like I was going to try it, and I forgot what Goofy's voice even sounds like. So I was like, I'll just sound like someone you like, is that Goofy? Like, oh.
Well, we don't know what Goofy the player's voice sounds like at the moment, so we could do anything.
It's true. Again, we don't know these players. Oh boy. Astralis Talent, they're on the Deagle round. We have seen them very occasionally pull something, and Bigo's going to do it again.
Lack of head armor on members of Astralis Talent here is really going to hurt against the SMGs. Big farm for Spiro. Goofy being taken down early, though, punished for their previous effectiveness in that last round. Getting a weird thing, a deja vu here, Counterfeit, with Astralis Talent picking up the 1.
I think Wisla, both teams have been for enough rounds where they maybe have underestimated the pistol rounds of the other team and paid pretty heavily for it. Of course, for Astralis, they were now trading rounds back and forward. They love to do what Wisla had in the first map. And Brizza gets the kill!
What?
That's the right letter. And gets Altex with another! Oh my gosh, Astralis. Wisla are almost dead. They've got barely any HP. 21 between the two of them, but maybe that's all they need.
One shot onto each player will take them down. Snatchy might expect this. Freezer. They need to find the timing. Snatchy is 1 HP. Oh, unlucky. Unable to connect the shots. Unrelated note, that E, my entry for most subtext in a single vowel award.
Now that's efficient commentating, let me tell you. Of course, you know, we pay by the vowel here, so that's a next level play. And unfortunately, as we look up at our top right hand corner, for anyone who's just joined us, we are in our last series of the day. Wisla dominating on Astralis' map pick. Now on their own map pick, they are demonstrating much of the same, but Astralis do have the money to buy up for this round. Double AWP and first kill to Astralis.
Okay, I think this is the smoke they wanted, but I was wondering if it was one way. Because you jump through it, and then your legs are visible, and the AWPer can pre-aim, and when you land, you have the lack of accuracy, and it allows for a really easy shot. Great job there from Astralis Talent, setting that one up. The advanced techniques. Maybe inefficient smoking here from Wisla Krakow as well. They double smoked at the top of a connector.
Astralis, just, you know, as of that last play, they suddenly start to look like a lot more confident of a squad. Vesso was, of course, one of the players who were keeping our eyes out coming in, and Vigor as well from the previous map. But Berza has definitely been stepping up from 10 kills last game to now having a much larger presence in this one. And Wisla, they are now in somewhat unfamiliar territory, having to take something approaching an even fight.
Swing here into Fessa. Fessa ain't having it, mate. And the same for Mister. I will talk to your parents, young man. Where's your permission slip to plant on this site? Permission denied, says Breezer. Jeddah in the ground. Astralis Talent pick up their second a lot earlier than they did on Overpass, if I remember correctly. Oh my. Have a look at those odds, though.
Oh boy. Well, the odds do slip down a little bit. I mean, we're in game 2 with one map secured already for our friends from Wisla, so don't expect those odds to change very quickly until there's an actual chance of a map swing back and forcing us through to game number 3 of this series. Astralis, though, it speaks well of their long-term potential that after being crushed on the first map, they're still fighting this hard out of a disadvantage in map 2.
Interesting now the T's are smoking that same location. It's been a one-way previously for Astralis. Maybe trying to cover up the sightlines of Breezer. Now 3 versus 3 as the dust settles. It's all AK buy, though, for Astralis Talent. They've managed to keep those AKs in circulation after having looted them previously. And Sobol, what beautiful angle play right there. Fessa had no idea that was coming. The elevation, very much leveraged as the bomber's going to make its way towards B. I have to be careful not to allow Ultex to intercept them on the way, though. We have seen Ultex do it. Oh, hello, they're going down into underpass.
Okay, still a little bit of time for Wisla to work with. This is a turning point round, though. Look at Wisla's money in the bank, and it's basically nothing. If they don't win out this round, Astralis really have a way back in. Unfortunately for Astralis, they go slow and steady onto the B site, and that means they are caught off guard when Wisla go right onto A instead.
I kind of like how Sobol wasn't prepared for that duel, so they just backed up and like, yeah, go ahead, use your utility, dummy. Mister here, very capable of winning this duel. That was not the HE they wanted. That's an artisanal grenade right there. AK versus AWP. The AWP simply does not have the gumption to make it work. Mister moves on towards the site. We'll be able to grab the AWP potentially. As they head up top, that's one. Will it be 2?
No
Yes!
way!
Mister is magic, baby!
Mr. Astralis Talent, to give them their full name. Get up to round number 3. Astralis, this is not the map we expect to see a comeback, but they've almost matched their previous game performance in just the first half. 3 more rounds and they'll have gotten as many rounds in the entirety of Overpass. I'm starting to believe again. It broke my heart before leg day. It broke my heart to believe in Astralis Talent before, but now we're seeing something better.
Call him Mr. Miyagi because he is my AK sensei. Or should I say senspray. Unbelievable.
Ah! That's terrible, but also good at the same time, which is a sign of a great joke.
The old pun war crimes, you know.
Oh god, we haven't even begun. Altex, though, they won't have many words, because Wisla are coming in all fire and fury. Fessa and Altex taking the early kills. Wisla, of course, minimal equipment for this round. As Altex, the excellence of execution, calm as a cucumber. Snatchy, last one standing. Astralis. This
Uh-oh.
could be their third in a row, but Snatchy is still alive.
The knife, the double,
Oh,
the
come
upgrade to
on!
the AWP. Thanks, mate. I was looking forward to these. This really helps out our economy. Nice, guys.
You were watching our back, right? No, you were. Oh, dear.
I mean,
Still.
the big investment there, I think it was double smokes from, might have been from Wisla, as they moved over onto a B site. Smoking both sides of a pillar did actually effectively bisect that site. Or at least bisect the sight line so that Snatchy could slip their way through there and not be checked from behind.
Well, looking forward to our next rounds. We are seeing strong performances. I mean, Goofy, of course, we praise them as a very strong player for Wisla. They've got a spread of 2, meaning their top performing and bottom performing players are separated by only 2 kills each. Every one of the 5 players from Wisla are absolutely deadly, but Snatchy is in a world of their own.
Oh, Snatchy just held that angle when they saw the flash coming through. They're like, okay, I've seen this before, mate. Snatchy's got the AK wizardry here, already on 3. Can they get themselves a 4th? The game might have been seen as they move on through. A body block on the smoke. Sobo hits this one. Mob Breezer does still have the AWP in action. They are going to be running straight into Spearo. That's Wisla on the 7th. And the AWP is going to be recovered. The odds are probably only going to get worse from here. Go to tebs.gg/winter and sign up with code WINTER22 to let Pinnacle know that we sent you here from the Pinnacle Winter Series. Place all your bets if you're 18 and over.
Timeout coming in from Astralis. I can only imagine what the planning room looks like for Astralis right now, because they are in a honestly unprecedented situation for them. They are on a map they shouldn't be doing well against. They're against a team who crushed them in game 1, but 4-7, it's an absolutely recoverable score. Astralis, of course, they have to win a Mirage because they lost the first map or they're out of the competition in its entirety. Wisla, they've got their eyes on playoffs. They're already there. They're thinking about the teams who've already qualified, which is nearly everybody else. We've got 7 teams in there already. Astralis, the smallest tiny bit of hope. There is an avenue through this game to at least get onto Ancient, if not win the series, and cause a massive upset.
Astralis talent aren't dead yet. Is there a body block there on the smoke? I think there might have been a body block from Vigo on the smoke that was supposed to be for window. And that means that Fessa now has a pretty good sightline to play with here. Unfortunately, no one's really going to be playing in mid to do with this. Goofy just drops down right on top of Freezer. That's going to be 2, and thus far unpunished. Now the swing with a rifle. No, Vigo simply can't get it done. Nor can Mister. Vigo moves on up. Jed of themselves just want to execute, and Old Texas left all alone. Where is my team gone? Oh, don't worry, I'll go find them up in the graveyard. Sent to the Shadow Realm by Snatchy.
Oh my gosh. Snatchy, Goofy up to 12 apiece. So many multi-kills to go around. Unfortunately, the Uno reverse card that Astralis managed to deploy earlier on seems to have turned to ashes. We're just back to what we expected from Wisla. Again, a team who are looking to present themselves as a potential tournament winner, trying to erase our memories of what happened in the main Swiss. Going 2-2 is not what we expected, but this is
unbelievable. Before their own smoke bloomed as well. Goofy sends out the HE. That's a good amount of damage on both Oltex and Breezer. And the crossfire onto Fessa punishes their aggression. 2 players head up to the top of jungle. They might be able to get the drop on Spearo here, but no, Goofy. Goofy loses that one. USP headshot. It's too much. Spearo, though, transfers the spray well. Now tries to continue hunting, but look at this. From the other side, Mister! It's the long-range sniper, baby! He simply hits differently. Beautiful gunplay there from Spearo on the long range.
That was super gross, and I think that's always a sign of someone who's been on sniping duty before they even think to check across the connector, just in case someone walks right in front of them. I mean, given what we've seen so far, given the comeback from Astralis has really fallen to pieces, we really do start to think more now about the playoffs starting next week. Wisla, this is the preview of their form coming into next week for Astralis Talent. This may just be a formality, this last, or potentially last map for them.
Astralis Talent hoping for 6-9. Desperate for a nice half here on their CT side. Ultex playing up a little bit closer than they usually do. Usually like to play around the wall. They've actually inserted themselves in the midst of Wisla Krakow. I'm afraid you were looking pretty sussy backer, mate. Think I saw inventing and Wisla Krakow. They indeed dump the sus, mister. In for the long save here with 22 HP.
That could have been it. That could have been it for Astralis. They could have gotten like 3k on the site and broken the spirit of Wisla in this first half. But instead, any time a play is marginal, it's going to Wisla as Jed waits, find Mister, full deletion, going to last round of the half, and Wisla, they're just looking too damn good to be contained. 50-1 odds. Like day. tb.gg/winterpro over 18s. I personally would not recommend.
I mean, they're submissions. So maybe they are the ones who
going
will
by
put
the Twitch chat, there
their
were
money on the
Astralis
line.
fans.
Maybe they are the ones who wish to place their bets against Pinnacle.
One last chance. Minimal equipment for minimal equipment. Astralis Talent with slightly less equipment. This is maybe where we see that they've still got fight in their bellies. Fire. Altex is waiting on the site with Fessor as backup. One last chance here on CT as Wisla onto the B site. Altex is waiting and strikes, but only gets one.
He was barrel stuffing and he still missed. Sure, the body damage was done, but no heads there. And now Breezer and Mister remain. An MP9 and a scout to try and play with. There are no more saves. There are no more mulligans. There are no more second chances. Wisla Krakow have got this locked on down. Jeddah on the backstab. Should be able to carve through both of these players easily. And there it is. Mister never saw it coming. Was too busy. Concerned with the site and the bomb. That's going to be the half. And Wisla Krakow's T side was absolutely brutal.
Well, as we come into our second half and what could easily be a very swift end to the series, we'll of course encourage you to check out Extra Fight, the Stream Cards extension on Twitch, and a World of Esports as well for all of your fantasy needs. Put together a team, even one based on the Pinnacle Winter Series number 3. Hope in short supply for Astralis Talent. One last chance in the competition for Wisla, looking to send a message to every other playoff team.
4 Berettas ready to go. Precision weaponry right there.
Pistols at dawn! This is the way you go out in a blaze of glory.
Slap them with the dueling gloves. Still 3-3. It's anybody's game, and A site certainly feels like it could be Astralis Talents right now. Breezer, despite the advantage of playing from high ground, can't get that done. Ultex has swapped over to the dual Berettis, but drops their own spaghetti. And now Mister, the only player with an unupgraded pistol right now, on the Glock, does have some armor, and has sent players scurrying. Now they've got themselves a 1 versus 1 with Sobol, who has no armor. This one could be stolen away in Astralis Talent. If they can get themselves a plant here, they'd be pretty happy bunnies. Or happy elastic birds.
You lost me there. Oh no! I remember you referring back to our first game. Oh my gosh, I flush my short-term memory constantly.
The callback only works for people who were there, and you were there.
I was there. Unfortunately, Astralis Talent have not been here. I mean, as you said, they've shown signs of a comeback. I think it's very much to Astralis' credit that despite the fact they are getting absolutely destroyed in the series, they're still fighting with everything they have. They're finding these occasional rounds. Maybe, well, I mean, this is probably not going to be it right here, but they're still fighting. If you go down fighting, you can at least leave the competition with your head held high.
Go down in a blaze of glory. Glory's not given, it's earned, counterfeit. Spiro is earning it in spades. Fessiva first of all. One of the most clutch players that was on Astralis Talent. Brave here. for Astralis Talent, looking down the 12 from Wisla Krakow to go for the full eco. But they want that AWP and those rifles out as soon as possible. Speaking of rifles, the FAMAS is leveled and does well as Snatchy picks up a couple with that SMG as well for the bonus cash. But this is the round Astralis Talent were waiting for.
Oh, jeez. Jeez. So from the main Swiss stage, we're going to have to take a slightly larger view since we don't seem to be seeing too much sign of a recovery here. Just a quick reminder of everyone who has made it through to the playoff stage. Maz NXT and Skate, both 3-0. Apex Endpoint, Eternal Fire, 3-1. Gamer Legion and UNGENTIUM, 3-2. One of these two teams will join them, and we pretty much know which one of them it's going to be. This is going to be a stacked playoffs where the regional Swiss teams are barely even present.
Well, we're invited for a reason, right? Pinnacle believe. Certainly seems to be the case here. 2 kills to begin with for Astralis Talent.
Ooh. Yet
to lose out on any of these rifles. Mr. actually runs into the smoke, trying to use it as a one-way from atop that elevated box. So Bob like, no! If Figure lost that one, I don't think they'd ever be forgiven.
Wow.
But that is a flawless. A touch of messiness, but in the end, Astralis Talent win all the duels that they are supposed to and slay the bonus of Wisla Krakow.
Alright, Astralis Talent. You see, every time we start really talking, talking crap about a team on stream, yeah, I'm pretty sure their coach is probably listening and is like, oh, they're talking you down on stream. Of course, their coach is, got a heavy smoking habit as well, just like we do.
Like, son, they're talking you down on stream. Don't let them do that.
Nah, show what you made of Astralis Talent. I mean, I know you got talent. It's in your name.
I didn't raise you to be a loser.
I didn't raise you since you were children to be a wolf pack of Astralis Talent who get themselves an early trade kill. All right, lads. Let's settle in for the long haul.
It's where we bring it back. Molotov, Blooms, Jeddah, save. That might be a false negative, but still fastidious. The smoke given over. Snatchy doesn't need eyes. He's sniffing out the Danes.
He is a beast. And another, oh my gosh, of course, the most terrifying beast of all with Goofy. But Altex gets 2. 1 versus 2. Goofy, though, will not be denied. The sequel that never was, Goofy's Revenge, continues to press down on Astralis Talent.
An AK grabbed Snatchy with that AWP, of course. 2 and 3 kills for each of these players. It has been a pretty great series for Goofy overall, to be honest. They've been able to find some real moments to show themselves off. Astralis Talent, their streak is stopped at 5, but now they can double down and grab themselves an AWP of their own for Breezer versus Snatchy, a battle of the long rifle titans.
Breezer has been doing pretty decently. I mean, 11 kills, not necessarily going to be anything to write home about, but in the context of the team, they are the 2nd highest fragger. As we take ourselves a magic carpet ride through Mirage.
I can show you defeat.
Ah! Well, for Astralis Talent, they're going to need to get those feet covered, get their shoes on, get perhaps their wall boots running. Altex, we've seen, certainly if we're talking about players who we've seen some blossoming hope from, 16 kills is not bad at all. That's comparable to the top members on Wisla. Admittedly, the comparison is they're not as good as them, but they're still comparable.
I mean, it's a good bounce back from Altex as well, who had a frankly dire overpass. Their stats there were not great at all. But over here, definitely leveling up. And of course, they did a lot of that anchoring over on the B site as well. So on the CT side for Astralis Talent, Altex was occasionally very much denied the opportunity to take any real sort of like team fight engagements because they were having to just sit on B site and wait for the eventual push of Wisla.
One of the players from Wisla I'm looking out for is Sparrow. Number 9. The whole of the Wisla team has been performing extremely well, but Sparrow hasn't really been keeping up in terms of performance with the rest of the squad. And that's always going to be a bit of a tough thing to be when you're an individual player, knowing that the rest of your teammates are on a level above you, which is why I'm impressed with what we've seen so far in this series.
Need to reset soon that smoke on connector. Otherwise, Snatchy might find themselves revealed. Goofy trying to watch over mid right here. Jeddah. They're going to see Vigo's bum through the smoke. The displacement. What an adjustment from Goofy.
No!
Oh, he's got the schmoves, man.
The schmoves and everything else. That was horrendous. Wisla, they're showing why this is their map pick. Reza does at least get one back, but it's very short. Every single trick. You pointed this out on our first map. It's just a whole different level. Mister trying desperately to fight back from behind, but Wisla's bag of tricks is so much deeper than Astralis, and Astralis are getting caught off nearly every time.
Mister, we've seen big things from him before, but Sparrow says not this time, mate. Match point, and of course playoffs point as well, counterfeit for Wisla. Elimination on the side of Astralis very, very soon, potentially, as we head into round number 21.
To be fair to Astralis, they are literally a academy team. This is far from their final form. For Wisla, they are a team who are on the rise. Again, for anyone who came in late. In Wisla, they are the highest ranked in the world they've ever been, ranked 24th at the moment. This is the kind of performance we would have expected from them coming into the main Swiss. Things haven't gone quite the way we would have hoped. Most of the team is somewhat underperforming up to this point, but maybe this is a door turning as Goofy and Sobol put the final touches in. Astralis down to 3. I think that hope has run out.
The HE has turned the hopes of Astralis talent into bloody gobbets of flesh. A meaty rain will descend upon the Danish plains as the sun shines over Poland.
But you can't spell hope without HE grenade. Probably works a little bit better. Written down. For Astralis talent though, we're about ready to write them off in this ledger of this game. They have got the 2 rifles. Vessel, come and absolve us. No! They can't pull the team across the line down to 0. Wisla, they are going to play as Astralis talent are out of here. And this series... I mean, if you don't start stabbing your teammates at the end of there as a celebration, then what are you even doing?
A celebratory cascade of utility there. A pretty strong series overall from Wisla Krakow, who have got us wondering what happened in the rest of the main Swiss to have them be here on this final day, 2-2, facing elimination, while also playing for qualification. Wisla Krakow are one of the teams that we definitely expected to be going forward a lot earlier than this. Certainly maybe at the same sort of stage as Mal's NXT, getting those like 3-0s or maybe 3-1s. However, going through to the playoffs here, they have managed to get it, and hopefully their form will be improving as we head in towards the playoffs. Here's a quick look at all of the teams highlighted right there. Those are the ones you'll be able to see in the playoffs.
Yeah, final results sliding in there. Of course, you can see Mouse with the biggest round difference, definitely the most dominant coming out. Of course, with getting the 3-0 record along with Skate 3-0 as well. Certainly put themselves in strong position for the playoffs starting next week. It's been a hell of a run through the main Swiss stage. Of course, for even getting it to this point, our friends will secure themselves another $3,000 minimum, as well as the $2,000 from the regional stage. It is unfortunate that our regional teams weren't able to measure up to the invited teams on the most part, but as you said, that is showing that the invited team system is pretty well calibrated now, that nearly all of them make it to playoffs.
Yeah, some good ideas from Pinnacle as to who to bring. Of course, that $3,000 prize is graciously provided by some of our wonderful partners here. We've got Stream Cards, World of Esports with a Z for all your fancy needs. If you mouse over stream right now, near my face, probably over there somewhere, is a illuminated green play button. You can use that to play a game with cards to predict what's going to be happening in CS rounds as they happen to earn points. And you can get straight into it because you can play single player if you like as well. Of course, we have Extra5, that you can get 10% off some of their best peripherals with code WINTER10 at tab.gg/Extra5, and our title partner of Pinnacle. When you sign up, use code WINTER22 to let them know we sent you for all of your CSGO betting needs.
And of course, do come back here next week on the 14th of March, at the beginning of the playoffs. We mentioned, of course, we had the invited teams for the main stage. We've also got more invited teams for the playoff stage as well. So success builds upon success. But for now, that's all we have for you. The main Swiss comes to an end. Regional, of course, done last week. 3 more days left to play. Like Dame, looking at the list of teams, what does your gut tell you? Who are you feeling to take #1 and that last spot at Land Sweet Lamb?
I'm feeling pretty good about Mouse NXT right now. Like, they did very well in the main Swiss. I think that they're definitely on the up, and at some points they're like competing with the main roster on Mouse as well. It feels like sometimes they're swapping around in the global rankings. I've got a very good feeling about them.
I mean, whenever I look up here at the team records, I always see, who did the team lose to in this tournament? It's like, oh, Mouse NXT. There we go, there's a rivalry. Then I realize there's way too many teams for that to be the case. So lots of people have rivalries with Mouse. Mouse, for them, it's like, we beat you? Okay, sure. We're just adding you to the list of
another
teams.
scout, man. Just another scout. There are going to be plenty of them claimed and strewn across the battlefield in our playoffs. You can catch it next week right here. Make sure you follow the channel. But for now, the main Swiss is over. We will see you next time.
Package of sorts I received from them. Basically upgrading my entire setup as of right now with much needed additions. New headphones, as you get to see here. The H1 available on their shop for 129 USD. Comes in with a bunch of different wires, USB hub, extenders. It's got the whole thing. Not only are these bad boys headphones, they also come in with 2 different microphones. A more of a casual one and a pro microphone with the noise gate slightly up, and you sound absolutely crisp with that one as well. As you see, there's the USB hub. Here's the pro microphone. It's very quick and easy, just plug and play. As for what else is in this bundle, I'm gonna be taking a look at it right now as well, because here you're gonna get to see me unbox this lovely little mouse pad I got with a very, very smooth fabric, by the way. And a little known fact, I have 3 hands, as you get to see there. Another thing I did manage to get is the mouse bungee, something I've been wanting for quite a few years. Never really got to, but now I've been given a perfect one for it. It's a sturdy one, it comes with a beautiful rubber finish as well, so it doesn't move, but it still allows for movement with the arm it has. Not only that, it's also cheap. It's available at $17 USD on their store. So, if you want to get one, I would highly recommend this one. And the next thing we have here is the wonderful M4 wireless mouse that I've been using for the past 2 days as of now. It's been a wonder, it's been a pleasure and a joy using it so far. I've had to charge it only once. Besides that, it is very lightweight, it works well, and it's available at only $99 on their store as well. It also comes with an extra part for the backside of the mouse, as well as a few extra keycaps for the keyboard that we've got up next. The keyboard itself is the K4 RGB TKL, or 10 keyless, and is available for $100 on their web store, which is ridiculously cheap for this product itself, which it feels fantastic. It is very sturdy, it doesn't move around, it sticks in place, and overall it has been a joy to play with for the past few days. You can catch all the action of the Pinnacle Winter Series over at twitch.tv/CCT_EN. However, I would like to remind you guys that this video is sponsored by Xtrfy, so if you are looking to upgrade your items, if you're looking to get some new gear, head over to Xtrfy.com, use the code WINTER10 at checkout to get 10% off your order, and thank you to Xtrfy for sponsoring this video.